In this video, I'm going to give you 6 differentials, 6 players that are owned by less than 3% of the FPL community, make a huge difference in your mini leagues or your overall rank. Let's have a look at them. First player to introduce you to then is Patson Daka. He's only owned by 1% of the FPL community. 7.1 he's coming in at. Some of those fixtures look quite dicey for him to start with. Manchester City and Liverpool away, doesn't get much harder than that. Everton up first of all, then Norwich, Burnley, Brighton. They look like good games. But we know Leicester can score against anyone. Absolutely. He's got 2 goals this season. This is in the Premier League. 3 assists. His XGI looks absolutely phenomenal at 1.08. Only Salah can really touch him with that. Shots per 90 looks good as well, 2.95. He seems like a longer term replacement for Vardy. He's only 23. He made his international debut for Zambia at the age of 16. They didn't qualify for the African Cup of Nations, so he will not be going to. He's safe in terms of that side of things. Pros and cons, he started the last 2. He's one to keep an eye on. Can he keep his place in the side? Great XGI. Obviously that just needs to be put into longer or sort of consistent form of getting 90 minutes. Fixtures, you'd have to say, don't look great in the short term. And are there safer options at 7.1? Are there players that you know you'll get minutes of, like the likes of Dennis, if you can stretch it around Antonio, perhaps even Josh King? Possibly would be nice, but as a differential, an explosive player, we've seen him in the Europa League score goals. He could be a huge differential for you. 7.1, playing for a side like Leicester, it's not a bad option. Next player on the radar is Matt Targett, 1.9% owned by the FPL community. Very low indeed, 4.7, decent price. His fixtures next 6 look pretty good. Burnley, Leeds, Brentford and Everton. In between time, you do have Chelsea and Man U, both at home for Aston Villa though, who are much improved and tighter under Steven Gerrard. He looks a decent option to me. Don't mind benching him for a couple of those games for 4.7. He's got 1 goal already this season. He's chipped in with 1 assist, which is great. His XGI is not that bad, 0.2 for a defender. And the shots in and around the box, not expecting him to get too many returns. In terms of the pros and cons, 14 out of 16 games. He is starting pretty much every single game, so that doesn't be a problem. Not much competition there at the back for him. Fixtures look pretty decent, I think. On the alternative side, are there better options? Possibly, I think, with a T in it, if Tavares gets his name side back, and there's perhaps another defender in this differential groups that I would maybe go for. There's also players like Lamptey. There's a lot of options around his price. I'm not sure. With those fixtures, he could be a decent shout. Look, maybe keep an eye on Aston Villa's clean sheets, but 1.9% owned, very low, big differential. Next up is Bryan Mbeumo. He's a player that a lot of FPL managers have had on their radar since the start of the season. He's a midfielder or a striker playing as a midfielder, listed in the game as a midfielder for Brentford. 3% owned, really still quite low. He's had a decent couple of games recently as well. Fixtures wise, Southampton away, Brighton away, then he's got Manchester City, Villa and Wolves sandwich either side of Liverpool. So there's a couple of tricky ones in there, but some of the other games look nice. We know so far he's got 3 goals. He was known as sort of hitting the post king at one stage. 1 assist. XGI looks decent. Remember, he's only 5.5 at 0.46. 2.5 shots a game. That's all right. He seems to have picked up form in the last game. Really cool and taking penalty as well to beat Watford. In terms of pros and cons, we know he's nailed. Absolutely. He plays up front, but listed in midfielder. That goes in his favour. He's cheap, so he's an enabler as well. On pens, how long that will continue, I suspect when Tony comes back, he will then take them over. On the other side, fixtures maybe don't look that great. Brentford aren't in great form and some of those games look quite tough. But for 5.5, he's an enabler, he is a differential, and he's fairly in form as well. I think he's a really good option in that midfield if you can fit him in. Then we have Martin Ødegaard, Arsenal midfielder, 5.4, even slightly cheaper than Mbeumo and more of a differential, 2.6. So very few people have him, but those fixtures look really nice for Arsenal. Leeds, Norwich and Burnley mixed in. You've got Man City away, at home. That would be maybe one to put him on the bench. But he's got 4 goals, No assists this season. XGI really low to 0.26. That is a worry for me. Shots in and around about 90 minutes, not great either at 1.28, but he has been pretty clinical in those. On the plus side, he started the last 4 games. He's in form. He's got 3 goals in the last 3 matches. That looks good. He is cheap and an enabler at 5.4. The main worry for me is those low XG, 0.2. That's not great. He's not getting a lot of shots in as well. But for 5.4, he is clinical. Arsenal playing well, and those fixtures do look nice for him. Starting to come into his own and starting to get more starts. 2.6, big differential, big difference maker in your side. Certainly, if he continues that form, his ownership is going to go up and up and up, and so is his price. He also enables you to do other things at 5.4. So, not someone I would totally disregard. He looks good. He could possibly even argue with Smith. Road to Ødegaard to save you money could be an option. 2.6. He looks quite nice. The next player on the list is a player I am seriously considering and looking at hard at the moment. That's Dalot, hope I'm saying that right. 4.5. Really low priced. Low owned at 2.7. That again is surely going to go up. Brighton at home, 2 good fixtures, Newcastle, Burnley, Watford, Villa, West Ham, difficult fixture. But Manchester United haven't conceded in the last couple of games, albeit against slightly weaker opposition you'd say. But are they becoming defensively more sound? He's got no goals, no assist, very low XGI. You're not bringing him in for his potential attacking returns, absolutely not. But at 4.5, if he can suddenly get some of those clean sheets at that price, I quite like it. Started the last 3, fixtures look great. Beyond those 6, they're good as well. Cheap, enables you to do something else. Downside, I've put Wan-Bissaka. Does he keep his place? He looks to have the nod over Wan-Bissaka at the moment. Wan-Bissaka played obviously in the European Champions League the other week, but he seems to be the one in favour at the moment. How long will that last for? I don't know. He hasn't really had the ability to get forward much, you would say. He doesn't look like the sort of player that's going to pose a great deal of attacking threat. But at 4.5, if he can get in on those Manchester United fixtures for us, I'm pretty happy at 4.5 to keep getting those clean sheets. So he's one I am looking at. Last player on our watch list then is Andreas Christensen, 2.2% owned. Not many people got him. 4.8 million. He's one of the cheapest ways into that Chelsea defence, who of late haven't been as impressive as they were before. Wolves, Villa, Brighton, Liverpool and City, that looks horrible, and then Tottenham at home. So they've got a fairly indifferent or hard run, you would say, coming up. But this is a Chelsea side we know can keep clean sheets up against absolutely everyone. He has given us no goal contributions. He doesn't look good in terms of XGI, so you're not bringing him in for his attacking potential. But at 4.8, if he can possibly get into more games, he looks like a cheap way into that Chelsea defence. He is cheap. It is a part of that Chelsea defence. Problem is they've conceded in the last 4 games, Chelsea. Only Watford have conceded more goals in December than them. Can that maintain? There's an issue with his contract situation at the moment, him putting pen to paper being a bit of an issue. You just wonder, 10 out of 16 starts, not great. You have to accept that he is going to not always start and be rotated. But 4.8, could you take that risk? I don't know. He is possibly a player I've really seriously looked at in the past, just as a cheap way into that Chelsea defence, and everyone's getting rotated. So in some ways I feel like, well, I might as well take the cheaper option. He seems to be a favourite of Tuchel's, but he has talked about that contract situation wanting to be sorted out. Will he put pen to paper? I think that will rely on quite a few things. I'm not sure about him at 2.2. You know, all these players that we've looked at are low owned for a reason, but could he get a run in the side? If he could, starts producing some of the form that he also shows for Denmark, where he's scored some goals, possibly at 4.8 he could be a real bargain. I'm unsure about him, if I'm honest, at the moment. Possibly a switch from Ødegaard to Christensen if you still fancied that Chelsea defence, but those fixtures don't look great. I don't believe for a minute though Chelsea are going to continue to concede as many goals as they have. They've just been too good and too tight for too long. But Christensen, definitely an option in the way into that Chelsea defence in the future. I hope you found some of that useful, guys. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button if you want more good content, watch lists, transfer tips coming out as well. Put anything in the comments below. Always get back to you. In the meantime, good luck, and I shall speak to you soon.